Hi, it's Chris at Line Punch Forge, and today, sapphires and rubies. Just you wait. I think we're recording. We're going to do something a little bit different than the normal metalsmithing videos. We're going to start doing some lapidary and some rock and gem videos every once in a while. So this is going to be the first of that. I do have some on the YouTube channel back when I first started, but hopefully these are going to be a little bit more organized and maybe some better footage and better audio. So that's what I'm hoping. So today for dinner, we roll these up real quick. Rubies and Sapphires, or in a family unit, Corundum. So what I have laying out in front of me right here are a bunch of rubies and sapphires and various types of corundum. And when I say various types, I mean various colors. So a red gemmy or red corundum is commonly called ruby, and then any other corundum other than red is a sapphire. They're all in the corundum family. So this one is mostly rubies, this one is mostly rubies, and then this guy here, mostly sapphires. So what are they good for? So in gem quality, you guys have probably seen rubies and sapphires in gem quality. These aren't necessarily gem quality, but they are lapidary quality, which means that I can use them for cabochons, or I can do other things with them to set them in jewelry. Now I've got some water here. Wait for it. Wait, is it off? Oh, it was. Woo! That'll happen again. Alright, so what I have here is a ruby, and I know that because it's nice and red. And let me move over to this other camera here and I'll show you a little close-up. Hopefully soon I'll be getting a better camera so there's some better close-ups. Now you see those lines in there? Those lines in there are little itty-bitty pieces of silk. Not like the silk that we know, but silk-like structure. And that silk-like structure is what creates a star pattern on a ruby, a sapphire, a garnet, or any other gemstone that has that cat's eye effect or star effect. Tiger eye is a good one. That's probably the most common one that folks know about and see, is tiger eye. Now, do they all do that? No, they don't. And then some are better quality than others. This one, I believe, is a green sapphire. Oh, I bumped the camera. And it's kind of hard to know exactly what you're going to get when cutting. Now, you can read the stone, the outside of the stone, a little bit by looking at it, see how it refracts the light. Let me find a good example of that for you. And this is a really good example of showing that silk, but this is also a really good example of a stone that I would probably try and cut so that I could keep this face intact, because I wouldn't want to polish that. I'd want this face, this natural corundum face, to be what is seen as the top part of the jewelry. So a natural face cabochon. This is probably one of the better views. So that's a natural face, and all those little lines in there, those guys are little pieces of that silk that could potentially transmit what is known as a star or a cat's eye effect. Now, you can't just cut these and finish a stone and automatically go bam, cat's eye, bam, star. You have to cut them the right way. So I'm going to see if I can find an example of a stone here, and I may actually put some images on there to kind of show what it looks like. But I'm going to try and find a good example in here. And if I was prepared, I would have done that ahead of time. But I wasn't. So, yeah. Let's see. What I'm trying to do is find a relatively intact crystal. Here's a good one. So, what I have here is a Corundum Crystal. This one would probably be more or less considered a sapphire because it's not red, and this doesn't necessarily have the best quality of what I'm looking for. This one, however, does. So this is a rough crystal, and it grows up and down like this. This axis down here is the C axis, I believe. I'll double check that. But what you have is this crystal, and this top portion here. If you were to dome that out, you would have potential for having that star, or depending on how many pieces of silk you can get to align the right way, you'd have a a couple point star. Now, if you wanted to cut a cat's eye would be cut from this plane and domed over this way, because that silk is running up and down and across the top. What you want to do is have that polishing create a center point for those, and the other way, cat's eye, you want to isolate into a stone that has the silk running this way. So essentially what I've got in front of me is a whole lot of potential. And about a week ago I stuck there's probably about 3 pounds of this into a tumbler, and long story short, yesterday, not today as I'm filming, but yesterday, the day before, which I don't even know what day it is right now, took them out, and I filmed taking those out. And so I'm going to add that to the next portion of this video when this finishes, and so you can see exactly what they look like after the roughest grit. Now I have an idea. What that does is it knocks all that miscellaneous stuff off and allows me to get a better look at the stone to see what I can do with it. Like some of this, let me see if I can find a really good one. There's some really nice blue in here that could potentially make a really nice cut stone. So this, most of this stuff is steel gray, which not really ideal for jewelry for big end stores, but I love the natural crystal faces on it, and you can get some nice color out of it, or kind of star effect, just by finding the right piece and making it align just the right way. And we're not going to be doing any cutting or polishing today, but I plan on following up on this video and doing a little bit of that. So here's some of that blue. It's got, see this blue crystal right here? It's starting to get a little bit more blue color rather than the steel gray. And let's see if I can find one that has some nice sheen to it. There's a bunch in here, but they're sometimes hard to tell which ones have the nice sheen until I've had some of this other stuff knocked off of them. So we just got to be patient and look. There we go. You can get that effect in a stone. And you've got something pretty awesome. That's good. Almost like a wave of light transferring through that. But the other side, not so great. Let's look at some rubies. Here's a good example. So that could be an interesting stone. Hey, how's it going? We're gonna take them out. This has been the first course, so first tumbling. That means, let me unplug this. That means that this guy is like a 60 to 90 grit, and these are, for the most part, sapphires, rubies, and I threw in some carnelian as kind of a filler. So we're gonna take this off real quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like after the first course, and then we will go ahead and wash it out with water, because this is gross. Use the washer to pop that off. Put all those in one place so they're nice and handy. And then that's the goop. That's some nasty goop. I think most of those are bubbles. So I'm gonna take this, put it right on the edge there, and we're gonna spray the crap out of it. Yeah. Alright. So I have my rock shoes on. And essentially what we're going to do is flood this with water and get it to help me out a little bit. So as I'm blowing this out, these have been in here for about a week at 60 to 90 grit. Typically you'd go then another week at like 120, or yeah, about 120. And then you do a 600, and then you do 1,000 in a polish, or depending on what you're trying to do. I'm just trying to knock the grit off these so that I can see what I have and then see what I want to do with them. Whether or not it's cab them, turn them into faceted stones. And these aren't necessarily facet quality stones, but I've been relatively surprised with what I've had out of them. So it was clean water when I put them in. All that tumbling with the grit makes all sorts of nastiness. So you don't want that going down your sink because it'll mess up your pipes. So nobody wants messed up pipes. And what I'm doing now is just organizing the sieves, or the screens, and smallest on the bottom, largest on top. So here we go. This is a little ruby, and these are star quality. These aren't necessarily what you'd think as, you know, a ruby in a ring or something like that. There's a very large sapphire. This one is a kind of a gunmetal color, and I really like those for jewelry. Trying to leave a flat face on them, see what they look like. That one's fun because I have natural faces on it. It's a nice steel blue. Some more blue. I may cut this one, see what else I can get out of it. But let's take this off. You can see the smaller ones. Smaller ones, other than this one, tend to have some nice blue color to them. There's some smaller ones. Some of those are carnelian, so I can set that as a cabochon with a rough side, or I can just go all the way and polish them. I haven't decided yet, so stay tuned. We'll take a look.